So this is how you guys look at the trade normally. Okay, so when we go into Jonny blockchain, we have we go into our particular column, whether it's a one-way route, whether it's a fiat one-way, a crypto one-way, or a crypto circular. Now this is actually a crypto circular route. As you can see, my base coin and my starting coin is ZPR. Now I'll only know it as Zepper, but it was a completely new coin to me. I didn't know anything about it. I have blanked out the two exchanges because actually I'm going to show you how the deal panned out. So you're going to see all of the mechanics around that deal. So the exchanges are blanked out, but essentially this is exchange A. So this is where this coin is situated at the moment, and that's where we're going to send it. This is exchange B. And obviously we have a credit system, and obviously you would buy this particular route if you were wanting to use it based on the percentage, the ROI. And just in case you can't see that on the screen, it says 22.5%. So that was the original deal that I actually purchased. Okay, so like I say, that was 4 or 5 days ago. Now I refreshed it today, and I'm actually in the process of recycling this actual trade again. So I'm going to show you the results of it as we go through this slide. Now the first thing that I do is I check that the coin is the same on both exchanges. Now it's not a popular coin, it's not like Bitcoin or Ethereum or anything like that. It's ZPR. Now if you've heard of it, you're a better person than me. So I needed to do a bit of investigation. So I went to the first exchange, and as you can see here, I've got ZPR and Ethereum. Okay, now this is, I just basically identified that ZPR was on the exchange, and this is the symbol on this particular exchange. Okay, so I was quite happy that that is the first port of call. I then went to the next exchange, and I've got the same letters, ZPR, but this time I've got no symbol, but I have got another phrase here, which is ZPER or Zepper. So what I then did was I Googled Zepper to see if it was the same symbol as it was on the other exchange. And this is the Zepper website. And as you can see, it's the same symbol, it's the same title. I can assume 99% of the time that this is going to be the same coin. Now, why am I saying that? It's because there are some clashes. If you go to CoinMarketCap, for example, and typed in, I don't know, ABC, there may be a couple of coins which have the initials ABC, for example. So that's why it's really important to make sure that you have the same coin on both exchanges. Now, eventually, JB will have all this nailed down for you. But obviously at the moment, by the time we're adding all of these exchanges and obviously all of these coins, we're having to go through this manually and pick out where there is a conflict of coins. So at the moment, it's worth you doing this particular check, and hopefully you can understand how quickly and easily it is for you to do that check without even having to pay for that particular trade. You can do it just looking at the exchanges and looking at the base currency. So the next thing that I do is I then check to see if I can deposit and withdraw on both exchanges. So I do exactly the same thing. I go to the first exchange, and I can see here that obviously we've got our Zepper, and obviously I click on the deposit and I click on the withdrawal, and I can find that I can deposit and withdraw on this exchange, which is brilliant. I then go to the next exchange, and you can see here I'm on, and obviously there's a few instructions here that I can read, but basically I can deposit the Zepper coin onto this exchange as well, and I can withdraw it. Okay, it's really important that you check both of them. Okay, so again, there's a couple of things that I can read on here. Importantly, the minimum that I can withdraw, and obviously the fees that may be involved in that as well, and I can factor that into any calculations that I'm going to use in making a decision on whether this is a really good profitable deal for me. So hopefully that's quite clear. You identify the coin is on both exchanges, and you identify that you can withdraw and deposit on both exchanges. That's really important. So if we're happy with all that, we can now do what we call a paper trade. So we're now going to buy this trade, and here's the trade in full. So you can see here that this is our coin. Okay, these are the two exchanges, and you can see now that we're going to buy Ethereum with our coin here. Okay, and we'll do that on exchange A. We'll then send the Ethereum over to exchange B, and then on exchange B, we'll then sell the Ethereum back into Zephyr. And then obviously what we can then do is then send that Zephyr back over to exchange A again, and then recycle this deal for as long as it remains profitable. Now, how do you understand if it's profitable? Well, we will have, like I say, there's a little button that you can click for 1 credit that will keep it updated for you in your credits in your back office. Alternatively, you can do what we do, which is paper trade it. Okay, I'm going to show you exactly how you can use these numbers to paper trade this deal. So first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at exchange A, and we're going to understand what this figure is here in relation to Ethereum and Zephyr. So we go to exchange A, we're on Zephyr and Ethereum, okay, and you can see here that we've got the buy and sell section. You can see here that we've got Zephyr as the minimum amount that we can actually buy and sell on this exchange is in tens, and obviously we've got 0 Ethereum. Now what we want to do, just see if I can go back a second, here we go. What we want to do is we want to find out, basically what it's telling us here is that to buy 1 Ethereum, it's going to cost us 61,199 Zephyrs. Now you don't need to buy 1 Ethereum, and you don't need to buy 61,199. This is exactly the same as Jeremy's just explained to you about Bitcoin price and fiat value. Okay, it's just as a guide. Okay, so we know that for this deal to work, we need to be able to buy Ethereum for around about 61,000 Zephyrs. All right. So what we'll do is we will actually type in as close, whatever Zephyr it takes to actually get as close to 1 Ethereum. Okay. Now in this instance, this is 66,000 Zephyrs. Okay. So that's, I don't know, 5,000 more Zephyr than it said on the actual original deal to buy 1 Ethereum. Okay. But at least we know how many Zephyrs we're now going to transfer over to our next exchange. So we then take our next, we go over to our next exchange, and we know in theory that we should be able to get more Ethereum now for the 66,000 Zephyrs that we're transferring over. So here's our next exchange. We've got Zephyr and Ethereum. We've got our buy and sells, as you can see. And what we now do is we type in here our 66,000 Zephyrs. And again, just in case you can't see this properly, we're actually going to get a return of 1.3132 Ethereum. All right. Now, just in case you missed that important information, all right. On exchange A, okay, if we spent, or if we bought 66,000 Zephyrs, or had 66,000 Zephyrs on exchange A, and we bought an Ethereum, and we sent it over to exchange B, we're going to make a 30% profit on our Ethereum, or a 30% profit on our Zephyr. Whichever way that you want to slice or dice that, you're going to make a 30% increase on your base currency. I think that's a pretty good deal. More importantly, it's higher than it's been quoted here on the old deal that I bought 4 or 5 days ago. And bearing in mind that we've just done this deal, okay, and we're in the process of recycling this deal again. Now, yeah, there's some fees that have been taken into consideration, and so I may not get a 30% return, but I'd be very, very happy if we got 15% ROI on that particular deal, bearing in mind that it can be recycled and done again. So the important thing that I want to stress here is that this deal was bought with, let's say 22 credits, but this deal is still live 5 days later. Now, within that, the profit may have gone up, it may have gone down, but this deal is still live, it's still relevant. So I can recycle this deal over and over again. Now, let me just underline this to you. So I've shown this screenshot a couple of times. Now, the one on the left is in fiat, okay? Now, we're starting here with $200 as our trading balance, if you like. Now, I've just shown you a deal where you could make anywhere between sort of up to 30%. Let's say it's 20% on that particular deal. Here on this spreadsheet, we're only targeting an 8% profit on a daily basis. Now, that could be one deal, it could be 8 deals at 1%, it could be 2 deals at 4%. Whichever way you want to, cut it up, it's an 8% growth on a daily basis. At the end of those 30 days, you're going to 10x whatever it is that you started with. So if we started with $200, you're going to turn that into $2,000. If you're going to be looking at Ethereum or Bitcoin or Fred's coin or Zepper, whatever it is that you want to do, the math doesn't lie. You can see here that we'll start off with, let's say, 1 Ethereum. At the end of 30 days, I might end up with 10 Ethereum. I might be 1 Bitcoin, I might end up with 10 Bitcoin, so long as I'm constantly targeting myself an 8% ROI on those deals. But that's all well and good, but I thought what I would rather do is sort of really ram this home to you. This is the potential of what we've got here. And remember, this is just doing it manually. Starting budget of $200, okay? We then do 30 days of 8% deals. That's 8 credits a day. Now we're going to assume that you have to buy a new deal every single day that's going to be at least 8%. I've just shown you a deal that's 20 to 30% that's still running after 5 or 6 days. Okay, so you really sort of trying to be as cautious as we can here. So 30 days, buying a deal a day at 8 credits, that's still an investment of $240. Now, in my opinion, I would write that off. I'm only focused on driving the ROI on this budget, but it's a payment that you're making, so I want to make sure that we include it. So your total risk, if you like, is your $200 starting balance plus your commitment to go for 8% deals on a daily basis. That's $240. That's a total commitment, if you like, for that first 30 days of $440. The result is a shade over $2,000, which means that if you take away the amount of money that you've invested, if you like, you've still walked away with a $1,500 profit at the end of that first month.
And just going to lock you on the screen there.
Yeah.
And because the 200 you traded with, you still got that, haven't you? So the risk, because the risk I think is the 240. That's that you don't get that back. But the 200, if you buy $200 worth of Bitcoin, you've still got $200 worth of Bitcoin. If Bitcoin goes down in value, well, that's the markets, isn't it? But if Bitcoin goes up in value, of course, that's the markets. But you're buying something, a coin, and you still hold that coin. So you're not throwing your money away and saying, well, if this all goes wrong and I don't make these 8% deals a day, these 8% deals, you still hold the coin that you bought. I just wanted to add.
Yeah. So basically, what I want to try and help you understand is that at the end of this month, you started off with $200, where you could take that $200 out, which you've already done. You've got your 240, which you've taken out, And like I say, you're still walking away with $1,500 profit. Now, the second month, you've got $500 there that you can that's just play money. You could throw that back into the system, go back in to get more 8% deals. You know, crunch those numbers with $500, you're going to 10x it again. It turns it into $5,000. Put 1,000 into there, it's going to 10x it, turn it into $10,000. So just understand that, you know, the deals that we're doing, you will only do those deals if it passes all of those little tests that you're creating. Is it the same coin? Can I deposit and withdraw it? Has it got the liquidity? You can now check liquidity. You know, Joan was just showing you a really quick way of checking liquidity. You know, even if you don't know what liquidity is, you understand that $10,000 worth of trade has happened in the past 24 hours. You know that you're going to sell, you know, your I don't know, your $240 worth of Bitcoin today on that particular exchange. So long as it passes those tests for you, you can go ahead and risk your 8 credits to go and get the details on that particular deal. And there are thousands and thousands of deals that are going to be appearing in Jonny blockchain. I think we've got 1,500 at some point earlier on yesterday. So, you know, there's lots and lots of deals that are going to be throwing out to you on a daily basis. Right, I'm going to stop sharing, and it might be a time to just check see if we've got any questions.